Sri Lanka. It's time for another Decibel podcast, and this time around with a name you are familiar with, the founder, the awesome Miss Haadia Galeli. How are you today?
I'm good, Yasmin. Thank you very much. Starting this conversation, I think, is very important for me to thank you first, because you have just basically, been with us throughout our entire journey, and I can safely say one of the first. And you
That's
have
so crazy.
And consistently to date, till this day, this moment, you've honestly contributed a lot to us. And
Glad.
I'm truly grateful. Thank you so much.
And thank you for doing what you do. It's so crazy, like around 10 years ago. Oh, congratulations on 10 years. Congratulations
Coming
on
up.
10 years. Yeah, but it's always such a cool feeling to know that a project has...
Yes, because I had my cousin actually who very gently told me, I'm really happy and proud that you've taken this through. He's saying, I didn't think it was going to last more than 2 years. Because of not for anything else, Yasmin, but the challenges that we've encountered and still encounter. And if I'm allowed to mention, the other person who was there from 2017 at Surya Village, if you remember, right, was Hanif Yusuf, and consistently his doors have been open to us. And like that, I have a long list, but I think too long to mention right now, but it will be up on Facebook, because I think, it's so important to validate and to talk about people who've actually been on our journey, contributed. I said they've helped us to get this far. So I think this is very important for me. For me, it's very important,
And for everybody else that's a part of the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. The members who've, some who've been there right through, some who've been, in and out, even they've contributed and helped us to understand what we should, what we shouldn't do, how to react to some of these situations, which is also very important.
But 10 years, that's a long journey.
It's going to be a milestone. And there are things going to be happening in that 10 year, during that period. But we're taking one step at a time, because I think this year was pretty much a very serious side of what we were doing, that we've launched. And judging from the public response, people who have watched us grow and those who have actually encountered us for maybe the first time in some cases, they were in awe, because I think they came just at the peak of our presentations, last year, right? I mean, with Voices for Peace and the entire Sufi presentation there. So I think I'd want to clear the one thing is with the differences between what we've been doing. People might get confused as to, okay, why Sufi, Voices for Peace, and then it's, Muslim Choral Ensemble, doing a collective. So there's lots of things happening within the MC framework. So as you know, we did MC work. And 2019, after the Easter attacks, sadly, much as none of us condoned, there was only one way that I could relate to the issues, and that was to bring about some form of understanding within our communities, just to bridge those, gaps where there was discomfort, there was hate, there was confusion, and we needed this platform to help. And I'm glad we did it as Muslims, because for people to understand and know that, we're the same people, in different skins. So when we launched Voices for Peace, I have to really, appreciate Timothy Wright from Shangri-La, and now Hervé Dubois, who's current GM, that consistently, with the blessings of their head office, they've never shut their doors on us. Whenever we've asked them to partner with us to do something, they've always said yes. And and much as I've gone to them, what I try to do is not burden anybody, with demanding. That's why even our events, people can't get over the fact that, we ask for so little in comparison to what is out there. But all we need is, from event to event, to help us to, cover our logistics, and that's all. But the fact that they believe in us, people like even Uncle Hanif, it's just the belief. And what also behind the scenes, okay, so coming back to the years we've come through, I think it was just Voices for Peace, and then of course the World Muslim Choral Ensemble, which we did did launch, soft launch. We carried it through Sama International Choral Festival, but I think for us to bring in international participation, we don't have the capacity financially. So this is something I think we need. We have a plan to overcome that. So I hope, inshallah, the festival will give us the opportunity, and people who are watching us will come forward and say, it's something meaningful, it's going in the right direction, and we just want to collaborate, that's all. And as much as possible, we try to reduce our costs, by asking for support in kind, like we do with Shangri-La. So that helps us to overcome, the expenses that we go and ask sponsorships or donations for. So I think, that's pretty much how it is going. And World Muslim Choral, I must say, is a work in progress. But Professor was very concerned that it will die. So I said, nothing dies unless it's killed, right? So I'm not killing it, because I think there are bigger plans in a modest but bigger plans for us. And let's take it as it comes.
And step by step sometimes is the way forward.
Of course, like I said in one of my quotes, which I like doing, writing my little quotes, and they have said, one step at a time. And that's what we have done. We've never been over ambitious. We've never competed. There's nothing to compete, right? Because there's room for everybody. And I love collaboration. I love people coming and saying, can we do things together? And if I can help somebody, I would love to do that, because that's the only way we succeed. To expand on this vision, to expand on anything we do.
I know. And I remember also like DJ Mass, like being so in awe.
I know. I mean, those people, who have supported us behind the scene, it's amazing, Like even somebody as simple as, Ranga, who's behind that console, and Unique Sounds, I mean, I have a debt of gratitude to pay Unique Sounds. But Ranga, every single performance, he'll come and tell me, don't worry, it's going to be great, And that's the kind of support that we need, and it's one family. We work together, we eat together, we laugh together. I haven't cried together, but that's fine.
And so this family has grown throughout the years?
It has grown, and they have seen it grow, which I think is the most rewarding part of the whole journey. That people who are within that framework see the challenges and the hard work that goes into it. Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. And what would you say is like the craziest response from the Muslim community? This is a bit of a controversial question, I know, but because there's a lot of people who appreciate the Sufi music culture, like being presented in the island, because it is, after all, in a way, a part of our island too. It's history.
So as much as you're asking me a radicalized question, I will give you a radicalized answer, because I was at this Zoom session when a very educated lady turned around and said, Sufism is for the rich people. So
excuse me?
Yeah. So I was like, what? So I immediately sent a private message to the person conducting it, and I said, just ignore that comment, where that person knows very little about how people feel. I mean, even what I'm doing, I had people who told me, it's not permitted, you can't do this. I said, look, I am my own person. I'm not treading on anybody's toes. I'm not speaking on religion. There's no theology in this whole thing. I said, I'm using a skill. I'm using the arts. And what's so wrong about using the arts to communicate a human message of unity, We are only trying to unite people through what we are doing. And there's no harm in that. So even when, funny, and you've seen, right, all those who are within the choir, are people from different groups within these Muslim communities. So Islam, Muslims, that's one. And of course the different sects are there, but that doesn't play out in the space that we are. It doesn't play out at all. You get the Bohras, you get the Maimans, you get the Sufi followers. So where are they? None of us are discussing anything related to the particular groups that one belongs to. Safely, I belong to everybody, So I have no differences. I'm married to a Bohra, I am from a very, very Moor background. And so what? As long as a sense of what we have to live by is there, I'm no saint, but at least, we're thinking humanity. We are acting humanity, which is the most important thing.
Absolutely, because that what you're saying is absolutely correct. And to me, what that lady said was such a shocker because, like I was telling you, my great granddad, he didn't come from anything. He just came by boat.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I think MP listeners would be really, interested in that part of it.
Bring your brains to the Candy Pub Quiz. Vouchers, towers, bragging rights, all that. Win it and have the most fun with your clothes on every Thursday in June, 7:30 onwards at Slightly Chilled. Want more information? Call 075-656-4567.
Yeah, so in short, my great-grandfather, he came to Sri Lanka on a boat with, I think, my grandma or the family. And it wasn't just like one Pakistani family. It was like a few different Pakistani families.
Pakistan?
They said Peshawar.
Okay.
So they came to Sri Lanka by boat, gave up their citizenship, decided to become citizens of Sri Lanka. And so according to what my mother said, he was this dude who used to like go around playing the tambourine like a baba.
Yeah.
He used to sing at the events that he was called for.
So would he do that? Would that mean that he would do it even during Ramadan? Where they would go
door to door,
waking up people during that time?
Yeah, and he would live on the kindness of people.
Yeah, of course.
And he didn't really ask for money. If there was food that anyone wanted to give, he used to like take that. And
so currently we are living on the kindness of people,
So I think it's a Sufi thing.
Yeah, I would say. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so he did music for all of his life, singing praise to the Almighty, and that was his thing. He just had one tambourine, his God-given instrument, his voice, and that was his life till the day he died. And he's supposed to be buried somewhere in Mardhan. I'm not really sure where. My mother would know. But he was buried here in Sri Lanka.
Yes, so this is where, Yasmin, we are planning on launching our YouTube channel. It's taken this long.
Yes, finally!
But it's not going to be just a regular channel where it's only going to be about MC choral work. It's going to be a channel where we're going to post our entire journey out there. Video footage which nobody has ever seen. And of course, I am not an expert on this, so I'm giving it over to some of the expert members of my choir. And last night we were talking, we met up, and the channel is going to have different folders, he said, of each one of our years, from 2016, which was the year I sat down and wrote the concept of my vision, and going back and forth, thinking what I should do, shouldn't do, because I was moving away from mainstream work in the Western Oriental fraternities, and I think I landed on just the right ground of where the Muslim Choral was concerned. So by the end of 2016, I was ready to launch, and that's when I spoke to Professor Andre. And as a learned person, I invited him because I didn't want to take the leap of my faith in it without somebody who's in the industry launching it with me and sort of backing me on, giving me the right advice, telling me what I was doing was right, wrong, which he did, of course, I have to say, contributed and still does. He's a very busy man, very highly accomplished. So I think, now is the time. Now doing international, my choristers ask me, about international work. But we don't have the funds. We have the inquiries, but we don't have the funds to take people across, unless at least, a airline can partner with us. And we carry that brand throughout. But I think, inshallah, what will happen is we go maybe to your father's country. The closest, I think, going to the neighboring countries to start with is going to be very useful for us. So because if you take Qawwali, Sita Qawwali is in Pakistan. So, and I have links to people who are sort of talking to me about, coming out, spending time with them. So taking the members there is great, and they will come. And it's going to be an exciting
yeah, I wish they had that over here, like nice Qawwali sessions for like 1 hour, 2 hours.
Yes, so 1 hour, 2 hours, people will say 2 hours is too much, but then you get communities who will come. So within our framework of Anur, this is my thinking, is that we just go to homes. They can host us, simple, they don't pay us, but we only go, it just feels really good to go into a session and you come out feeling a different person.
Yeah.
You just leave the world outside and you get into a space where nothing else matters but that moment. Currently preparing for Anur, my home is my meeting place every Friday. And Sajida, of course, opens her doors as well. And they're very happy because, they all get to sit, eat, drink, fellowship, and practice. So it's fun. I mean, I enjoy watching the youngsters. And this is something that, they sit down and they enjoy. So for us to do this, we have to find another platform. And the only platform I can think of is not public performances per se, but find ways, for people to create these spaces where, their children can be involved and can become more and more aware of our traditions, our customs, our culture. This is, I think, so important for them.
It is, because like you said, like we were having a conversation, not on camera, but you said it's so important that we keep telling this story over and over again so people know our history.
How do you keep traditions and customs alive if you're going to modernize yourself and forget the past? Like I have a granddaughter, she's 21, and she knows everything there is to know about customs, and she lives in it. Thanks to also my husband's side of the family, and the fact that they maintain a lot of their customs and traditions. She knows some of that now. With her exposure to MCE, she is also knows some of that. So those are the stories that they will send down, pass down to their children, and we have to do it. How do we do it within a community? Invite members of the communities to each other's homes. When you have, like, it's Vesak or whether it's now, okay, I can actually say it. I hope we get the opportunity to, MC is going to have a dansal next year.
Hey!
So, and all we'll do is have kanji, and that's it, Good enough for us.
Best damn treat on the planet.
Exactly. So we'll stand there. And I said, you better first make arrangements to have somebody else cooking for us to keep transporting it, because Dansali is going to have one entire lane of people waiting
wow,
for it.
yeah.
So let's see how it works.
All in God's hands.
All in God's hands.
And so this big concert on the 1st of June.
Yes, it's Anur will be. We kind of said to ourselves, we got to refresh it. So it's going to be a whole new repertoire of pieces we'll be presenting at that concert. And also we have some special invitees coming down from India to attend the concert, who are people who conducting summit, the World Peace Summit 2025 in Jaffna. So it's a Moksha Trust, and what they will be doing is they'll be at our event. Somebody already came for the 7th December one, gone and spoken about us, and the good thing is that they weren't nobody recommended us, but they researched us. I think that is what made it all the more interesting for me. And so 24th, 23rd is to the 25th. So 24th we'll be traveling to Jaffna for the summit. And we do that. And there is something for our 10th, which I am actually working on, which I'll push. So we won't have Anur next year at the beginning. So I'll be pushing everything for December.
Okay.
Voices for Peace, everything goes into that that period of time in December. So it will be a 3-4 day event, exercise. So the content of it is what I'm working on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but this year's is going to be very interesting, because I know we've been repeating, only because of requests. Put this on your repertoire, don't take this out.
Yeah.
So obviously you arrive at the same pieces, but this time we said no, for public consumption, let's change the repertoire completely. So it'll be something interesting to watch.
That sounds like a plan. So this is like the Muslim choir ensemble 100%.
100%. Because Voices for Peace brings in the others. So this definitely is Muslim choral ensemble. Because I don't want to dilute it, because our choir itself has a lot of rich voices. So, keeping it within that framework, yes.
Nice. And tickets are out?
Tickets are, yes, you can book your online. You can call the number and we'll take your bookings.
Okay.
But we have to overcome some of the formalities, and we will immediately...
Like Lionel Went stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll be putting out tickets at the Lionel Went just about a week before. But inquiries... Oh yeah, and the other thing I want to mention is that we are donating seats to various groups, like the blind school, orphanage, schools, a boys' school, girls' school, no, but boys, senior station people, So we bring people who can't
afford,
won't generally go to events like ours. We are inviting them to come and be part of it. So we are inviting them, and they are our guests.
That is so cool. And I guess if people wanna, they can just donate towards this as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They can take, we call, I've tagged it block of the box. So the block of the blocks off the box plan.
Okay, that is so cool. And is there anything else you want people to know about the concert?
I think it's just to come in and support us. I know many of you won't be able to help us to tide over our expenses, but that's okay. But at least you either come or you donate your seat to somebody. That would really be a great gesture. Yeah,
that's always such a cool thing.
Yeah.
And so next year, you said it's going to be the big year?
I think so. I have a feeling there's one more little item that's coming into it, and I'll talk to you off screen about it, because I think you'll be very excited. And we will definitely, Yasmin will announce it. I'll give you the pleasure of announcing it. Yes.
That is so cool.
I'll give you the pleasure of announcing it, and I'll give you the pleasure of the interview as well.
Exclusive!
Yes.
It's coming soon. Hey. So thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you,
it
Yasmin.
was always so nice to be talking to you.
Nice to be talking to you. Thank you for absolutely being the rock behind us with the cameras and the mics. You really been on this journey.
I try.
And I really, really am grateful to you.
I try.
And as much as I'm grateful to many others who have been on this journey, and I think we'll mention that we'll take a little time mentioning that at the Anur presentation, because I think all of you, all our audience needs to be appreciated. Those who have helped us need to be validated. We have to be grateful. Gratitude is something we have to practice more often.
Yeah, that's true. So Jaiweva, all power
Thank
to you and the
so
team.
much. Thanks, Yasmin.
See you on the day.
Thank you. See you soon.